Will Smith,
right?
Getting back into the rap game. What's your thoughts on that?
I think he's a little confused about how talented he really is.
Hey, speaking of love, this is love. I saw a guy on the internet the other day who said he used to be your security guard, who said that when you were dating J-Lo, Will Smith and Jada tried to pick her up on you were going to beat up Will Smith. Is that true?
Yeah. Where's the hair? Ain't no hair. Will is very mad. Will, I know you're
when Diddy got locked up, Meek Mill came out saying that he'll pay somebody $100 grand to investigate that he has nothing to do with anything with Diddy.
Man, look, I can't. You can't take back with your butt.
Just take one, because you've been fighting me the whole press tour. Just take one.
What?
Just take one. I just want to kiss you.
What?
I want to kiss you and just say Jordan. Just keep a smile. Just keep a smile. Just keep a smile.
What if one of Hollywood's most recognizable stars has been carrying a secret that insiders have quietly whispered about for years, but never fully confronted in public? That question exploded across social media after Orlando Brown made a series of statements that instantly sent the internet into a frenzy. His claims didn't just raise eyebrows. They dragged Will Smith's name straight back into the spotlight at a time when many thought the conversation around him had finally cooled off. Almost overnight, old interviews, forgotten clips, and half-remembered rumors began resurfacing, colliding with each other in chaotic ways. Some people are asking whether there's truth buried beneath the noise, while others see nothing but reckless talk spiraling out of control. One thing is undeniable, though. This story is uncomfortable, layered, and messy. And the deeper you go, the stranger it gets.
Like the video that's coming out with him and Will. With Will Smith getting the Will Smith. You ain't heard the Will Smith footage?
Yeah.
I heard about Will Smith. Then they got the Carl Winslow. Yeah, they got a lot, bro. It's a lot coming out, bro. You know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna just keep it to you 1,000, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, Jaleel White was Reginald VelJohnson for
a lot of people feel like she disrespects Will Smith by her constant praise of Tupac.
Well, she disrespected herself with her constant walking outside without a wig on. I feel like some things just need to stop. Everybody else
Someone come to Hollywood and not be successful.
Oh, hell yeah.
Not a requirement.
The requirement is you gotta say no to Diddy. If it's new booty in the building, you know he gonna get it.
Don't take your girlfriend to a Diddy party.
You can take he won't you. He is not worried about the bitch at all. We trying to shake up the world, baby. You know what I'm saying? We trying to do some here. You know what I mean? I got in my Diddy mode. I'm sorry, I started licking my lip. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Yo, Diddy, you gave me the ooshkash gooswash. You gave me the ooshkash muah.
As more clips and commentary continue to circulate online, Orlando Brown shows no signs of backing down. In fact, he's doing the opposite. He's doubling down, framing his accusations as long-ignored truths rather than sudden outbursts. That stance has only intensified the debate. Across social media, the reaction has split almost perfectly down the middle. Supporters argue that Orlando is finally saying what others were too afraid to speak out loud, while critics question his credibility, mental state, and possible motives. That tension, belief versus skepticism, is exactly what keeps the story gaining momentum. When claims like these surface about someone as globally famous as Will Smith, the internet doesn't wait for clarity or confirmation. Instead, it immediately starts re-examining the past, rewriting timelines, and connecting dots whether they belong together or not.
He's opting out of the acting and running to the music, but he should have been doing that the entire career.
Right.
And then it wouldn't be a problem right now.
Yeah.
It was, oh yeah, we making 100 million here, 100 million there, 100 million, but doing no records. You didn't hit 100 million in the studio. It was Welcome to Miami, Wild Wild Westin.
Yeah.
You had it.
In this breakdown, the focus isn't just on what Orlando Brown actually alleged, but also on how fans and commentators are reacting in real time, and why Will Smith's name is suddenly dominating headlines again. Just as important, however, is what isn't being said. The pauses, the silences, the questions that never get answered. Those uncomfortable gaps often speak louder than direct statements. In celebrity culture, silence rarely calms speculation. Instead, it feeds it. And this is where Jaguar Wright enters the conversation. Over the years, she's built a reputation as one of the most outspoken critics of both the music and film industries. She's publicly called out powerful figures like Diddy, Jay-Z, and Will Smith, repeatedly suggesting that the public only sees a carefully curated surface while far more troubling dynamics play out behind closed doors.
Do weird things in their house, and young men have left their house screaming to get away from them and their mentor. Meek Mills, Bashir Gray, left that house. August the only one that stayed, and I guess he was really sick. He needed help. Amen. And that was their kid's friend. They believe that shit is real by any means with all of that. They ain't doing as much, I guess, now because they getting older. I guess it's just because she's looking a little hocus pocus.
According to Jaguar Wright, Will Smith had connections to Diddy and what she describes as a certain puffy-flavored industry energy that existed years ago. She frames these situations as examples of shady industry behavior rather than established facts, but the tone and confidence with which she speaks makes people stop and listen. Jaguar has also pointed out that Orlando Brown has been increasingly vocal in recent years, implying that he may hold information tied to what she calls Will's deepest secrets. Whether true or not, those statements poured gasoline on an already raging rumor mill. When multiple controversial voices echo similar themes, even without proof, it creates the illusion of a hidden pattern that people feel compelled to investigate.
New? Yeah, well, you know, everybody always say it's something new. Just like Will Smith sitting there, Illuminati, save me. I'm going to do this live ritual and pray to God that they let me back to the Oscars next year because I'm tired. I'm tired of being played out. Like, all of this is weird. And it's
A lot of viewers have started asking why claims like these rarely make it into mainstream interviews or why they often get brushed past so quickly when they do surface. For longtime observers, this isn't unfamiliar territory. Will Smith's personal life has been the subject of online speculation for years. Street talk and gossip blogs have long claimed tension inside his household, with rumors suggesting emotional distance growing over time. While none of this has been legally substantiated, the persistence of these conversations has kept them alive. Once a celebrity's private life becomes public curiosity, every appearance, interview, and pause gets dissected for hidden meaning.
Absolutely ridiculous. You know what I'm saying? And so all you have is you just got to laugh about it, you know? And it's unfortunate because...
Did he ask you, like, do I look like I give off bottom energy?
He was like, do you believe this shit? You know, but we just laughed about it.
Many sources who discuss these situations point to industry pressure, emotional strain, and fame-related stress rather than confirmed wrongdoing. Still, once certain ideas take root online, they're nearly impossible to erase. Names like Brazier Gray and Justin Bieber often get pulled into these broader conversations, especially when discussions turn toward exploitative environments in Hollywood. It's crucial to emphasize that these are unverified stories, not proven facts, even if the internet treats them like breadcrumbs leading towards some larger revelation. And that's what makes the situation so messy. Whether these claims are accurate or completely unfounded, the public reaction reveals just how ready people are to believe there's more happening beneath the surface. Every old clip gets replayed, every silence analyzed, every rumor dragged back into relevance. That's why the story refuses to slow down. It feeds on curiosity, distrust, and the widespread belief that Hollywood never tells the full truth.
Will was bent over on the couch and Dwayne was standing up. Like,
nah, bro. Why is he going into detail though? Like, he don't gotta do all that.
It was
that look at the kid.
Jaguar Wright doesn't stop her commentary with Will alone. She has also claimed that Jada Pinkett Smith was fully aware of certain industry dynamics, pulling other names, including Meek Mill, into the discussion. She paints a picture of tightly connected Hollywood circles that protected their own and discouraged outsiders from speaking freely. According to what's been circulating on Talk on the Streets, this environment is also why some people believe Brazier Gray experienced a dramatic shift in his public persona. If you've followed him for years, especially on social media, the change is hard to ignore. His content now targets a very specific audience, and online discussions haven't stopped debating how sudden and extreme that transformation appears.
With me, 30 years coming up in the business. So, he's surrounded by a whole lot of strength. He's surrounded by a whole lot of love. And all he has to do is add discipline, and he's going to be all right.
It's like Uncle Will, Who is best to give you advice? And it's Will Smith, and I'm getting so much.
Rumors suggest that Brazier Gray wasn't always living this way. At one point, he was reportedly married, and insiders claim he believed that settling down might quiet some internal struggles. According to those same sources, it didn't work. Emotional tension within the marriage allegedly intensified instead of easing. Jaguar has also repeated claims suggesting that Jada held a level of power over Will that made him complicit in situations he may not have fully controlled. In these discussions, People close to the situation describe Will early in his career as someone who appeared straight, openly dating women in the industry. They reference his first marriage in the Fresh Prince era, recalling Sherry's presence before things allegedly began to shift in both his personal life and public image.
Prince of Bel-Air, you know, it's not that no more. It's, you don't have to really,
living together. It's just this beautiful connection. We will.
Look at that.
Not right now.
But you will.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's
Why do you say that with such clarity?
Because that's what it's going to be.
That's where it's headed.
Yeah.
The narrative being circulated suggests that when Jada entered Will's life, she represented a different kind of validation, someone highly desired in Hollywood at that time. According to these opinions, that dynamic may have played a significant role in how Will's life and career unfolded afterward. These perspectives come from interviews, commentary, and online conversations, not verified evidence. Still, they continue to circulate because repetition gives them weight. The more a story is told, the more familiar it feels, and familiarity often gets mistaken for truth in the public eye.
Just wanted to feel good. It had been so long since I felt. And it was really a joy to just help heal somebody.
Some claims go even further, alleging serious domestic conflict and emotional control. This is where it becomes especially important to slow down. These are allegations, not proven realities. Even so, online commentators argue that the fallout from these relationships marked a turning point in Will Smith's public behavior. That's also where comparisons to Justin Bieber begin to surface. People online point to moments where Justin appears uncomfortable around Hailey in public, framing short clips as signs of tension or embarrassment. Social media has dissected these moments frame by frame, despite the lack of confirmation. A few months ago, a short clip of Justin at a club went viral and sent the internet into another spiral. Some blamed alcohol, others blamed the party environment, but many took it as evidence that things behind the scenes might not be as smooth as they appear. Jaguar Wright later added her own perspective to the conversation, suggesting that early industry decisions played a major role in shaping the pressure Justin Bieber faced at a young age. According to her, Justin's former management placed him under the guidance of Will Smith, a move she would later describe as a serious misstep. These statements reflect Jaguar's personal views rather than verified facts, but they reopened long-dormant discussions about past public moments involving Will Smith and his son during earlier media appearances. For many viewers, those resurfaced clips suddenly felt different when watched through a modern lens, especially as conversations around power, influence, and boundaries in Hollywood have evolved. And this is where the situation becomes especially complicated. Once multiple stories begin to overlap, the internet has a tendency to treat them like pieces of the same puzzle, even when there's no concrete evidence connecting them. Old interviews get pulled from archives, brief moments of body language are slowed down and scrutinized, and speculative narratives begin forming faster than facts can keep up. In online spaces, perception often becomes reality. Whether people accept or reject these claims, they highlight how quickly public opinion can shift once doubt enters the conversation, and how difficult it becomes to stop a story once it gains momentum. This pattern isn't new. Back in 2013, during press interviews for After Earth, some viewers already felt uneasy watching certain moments unfold. At the time, Jaden Smith was still a minor, and several interviews showed him appearing visibly uncomfortable on camera. While those moments didn't spark widespread backlash then, critics looking back have questioned whether the interactions crossed unspoken boundaries or reflected the pressures of growing up under intense public scrutiny. In hindsight, what once seemed awkward or harmless now gets reinterpreted through a much harsher and more suspicious lens, reinforcing how context and timing can completely reshape the way public moments are understood years later.
So Jaden, just take one, because you've been fighting me the whole press tour. Just take one. What? Just take one. I just want to kiss you. What? I want to kiss you and just say Jaden. Just keep a smile. Just keep a smile. Just keep a smile.
No, you know, it's I think when you have kids and you love them and you're proud of them.
To be clear, these clips have been debated and dissected for years, and there have been no official findings of wrongdoing tied to them. Still, they never truly faded from public conversation. Fans and commentators continued revisiting the footage long after it first aired, arguing that it highlighted how blurred boundaries in Hollywood can cast a long shadow over time. Even back then, some people online openly questioned what they described as Will Smith's overly affectionate behavior toward his son, saying it made them uncomfortable. Those reactions, while subjective, never fully disappeared and continue to resurface whenever these discussions are reignited. Jaguar Wright added even more intensity to the situation by amplifying claims made by Bal Salam. For those familiar with his name, Bal previously worked as Will Smith's personal assistant and was reportedly part of his inner circle for many years. Public accounts suggest that the relationship eventually deteriorated, with much of the alleged tension linked to Jada Pinkett Smith. According to reports, that falling out was anything but quiet, and it has since become part of the broader conversation surrounding the Smith household. As of September 2024, Bal Salam reportedly filed a civil lawsuit seeking $3 million in damages, accusing Will Smith of intentionally causing emotional distress. The claims outlined in the filing trace back to events alleged to have occurred in 2021. According to the lawsuit, during Will's birthday celebration that year, Jada allegedly confronted Bal in front of other guests and became verbally aggressive. Bal further claims that following that incident, he was threatened and warned to stop discussing private matters. The filing alleges he was told that continuing to speak could lead to serious consequences, including suggestions that he could disappear if he didn't remain silent. Bal also claims that he was pressured to sign a non-disclosure agreement, which he says he refused. These allegations remain claims presented in court documents and have not been legally proven. However, their existence has added another layer to an already complicated narrative. For many observers, the lawsuit reinforced the idea that there may be unresolved tensions and power struggles behind the scenes, even if the full truth remains unclear. And once legal filings enter the public record, speculation tends to escalate, not settle, especially when the names involved are as high profile as these.
That I walked in on.
Who'd you walk in on?
Him and Dwayne Martin.
Okay.
Hollywood is the hurry up and wait game. So 3 minutes later, after them telling me, hey, you got eyes on Will, we need him to come watch this. So I'm running all over the studio. He's not in his dressing room. I go to the cafeteria. I'm like, what? But I see his car there. I'm like, where's this guy at? So now I'm holding Dwayne down too. So I have the keys to his dressing room. So I'm like, yo, and they're calling I'm on walkie-talkie and they're calling my cell phone. Yo, we need to get Will here. I'm like, yo, calm down. Like, I'm trying to find this. Like, this is unlike him, right? So, all right, I open the door to Dwayne's dressing room, and that's when I see Dwayne and have with Will.
Let me process that for a second.
Fast forward to 2022, in the immediate aftermath of the Oscars incident involving Chris Rock, a moment that stunned audiences worldwide and instantly reshaped Will Smith's public image. According to Bal Salam, that event marked a turning point behind the scenes as well. He claims tensions rapidly escalated in private, far beyond what the public ever saw. Bal has stated that he was approached and asked to assist with what he described as a coordinated public relations cleanup for the Smith family, aimed at managing the fallout and controlling the narrative during an extremely sensitive period. Bal says he refused that request, explaining that he believed it crossed legal, ethical, and moral boundaries he was not willing to step over. According to his account, that refusal did not go over quietly. He alleges it instead triggered an increasing wave of pressure, intimidation, and retaliation that grew more intense as time went on. What he describes is not a single incident, but a pattern, one that he claims made it clear his decision to say no had serious consequences. Bal further alleges that the situation escalated even more once it became known that he was working on a memoir. According to his claims, the possibility that he might publicly share his experiences raised alarms and intensified efforts to silence him. He suggests that this development shifted the dynamic entirely, turning what he initially viewed as professional conflict into something far more serious. These allegations have not been proven in court, but their inclusion in legal filings has fueled even more debate online, reinforcing the idea that the aftermath of the Oscars incident may have involved far more complexity and internal turmoil than the public narrative ever revealed.
Here is an angle most people have not seen. Look at Jada's reaction.
Wow, dude. Yeah. It was a G.I. Jane joke. Keep my wife's name out your mouth. I'm going to, okay? So I can go. That was the greatest night in the history of television. Okay. So we are here.
Y'all know what happened to me. Getting smacked by Suge Smith. Everybody knows, yes. smacked in the by this mother. And people like, did it hurt? It still hurts. But I'm not a victim, baby. You will never see me on Oprah or Gail crying. Never gonna happen. I couldn't believe it. And I love Men in Black. No. I love Will Smith. I have rooted for Will Smith my whole life. I root for this mother. Okay?
Around that same period, Bal Salam began making a series of highly controversial public statements about Will Smith's private life, including claims involving past relationships and personal matters. These remarks quickly drew widespread attention and sparked intense debate online. It's important to emphasize that all of these claims remain unproven and have been strongly denied by the individuals involved. No court has established them as fact, and they exist primarily as assertions made in public forums. Bal also suggested that earlier marriages may have ended due to what he described as personal discoveries made behind the scenes. Once again, these statements are allegations, not confirmed truths. Even so, they added another volatile layer to an already complicated public narrative, especially given the heightened scrutiny surrounding Will Smith following the Oscars incident. According to Bal, those public comments triggered a fresh round of legal pressure, which he claims came from Jada Pinkett Smith. He has alleged that new legal threats were issued in response to what he was saying publicly. Despite that, Bal has consistently maintained that he was not backing down. He has stated that attempts to silence him only reinforced his decision to continue speaking out, framing his stance as a refusal to be intimidated. Though, as with all elements of this story, these claims remain part of an ongoing dispute rather than established fact.
Allegations, there's like, you know, like so many rumors, anything you want to say, we suing. I know that's right.
After appearing on Tasha K's platform on multiple occasions, Bal Salam claimed he was fully prepared to return with documentation if the situation escalated into further legal action. He suggested that he had retained materials he believed could support his version of events, should he be forced to defend himself in court. According to Bal, this wasn't a bluff, he framed it as a line he was willing to cross if legal pressure continued. He also implied that Jada Pinkett Smith and the broader Smith family might be facing more scrutiny than they anticipated, not necessarily because of any single allegation, but because he says he is no longer the only voice speaking out. According to his perspective, additional individuals have begun sharing their own accounts, and more names have quietly entered the conversation. As those stories circulate, they create the impression of a growing pattern, even as none of the claims have been fully tested in court. Whether any of these allegations ultimately hold up under legal scrutiny or fall apart entirely remains to be seen. What's clear, however, is that the volume surrounding the situation continues to rise. Each new interview, each resurfaced clip, and each added voice adds to the noise. And once that kind of momentum builds in the public eye, it becomes increasingly difficult to separate verified facts from speculation, especially in an industry where silence, denial, and power dynamics often shape the narrative just as much as evidence does.
Entered the dusty section.
Bilal told me, Jada, he told me that you knew Will was in your child. Wonder why he left that out of his Tasha K interview. He know that Will Smith dated, he sharing these meals, and you know, Bilal, you'll go from a Philly to a Sam, they'll still get you.
Jada Pinkett has written a book where she reveals that multiple times she tried to commit.
Yeah.
Not saying exactly what the reason was.
I don't know why she keeps trying. She just get it done. Don't be bad at everything. You was an all-right actress. You a terrible wife. You was a bad mother. Who knew that your husband was doing things to boys and did stuff to your son and you ain't doing about it?
Diddy's former bodyguard, Gene Deal, has also entered the public conversation, bringing with him claims that further intensified the scrutiny surrounding the situation. In a series of interviews, Gene alleged that Diddy and Will Smith frequently spent time partying together in settings he characterized as extreme and over the top. According to his descriptions, these environments went far beyond what the public typically associates with celebrity nightlife. It's important to stress that these statements reflect Gene Deal's personal claims and have not been independently verified or proven. No official evidence has been presented to confirm the nature of these gatherings or the dynamics he described. Still, once comments like these are made publicly, especially by someone who previously worked in close proximity to high-profile figures, they tend to carry weight in online discussions. For many viewers, Gene's remarks didn't provide answers so much as they raised more questions. When combined with earlier allegations from other sources, they contributed to a growing narrative that something about Hollywood's inner circles remains hidden from public view. Whether these claims ultimately hold any factual basis or not, their impact has been undeniable. They added yet another layer of speculation to a story that continues to grow louder with each new voice that enters the conversation.
There's a few I could come up with. Will Smith. He's bigger than Diddy.
I would think Nick Cannon is bigger than Diddy. Who else on the black that are black actors or black in the business that's an A-lister that's bigger than Diddy?
According to Gene Deal, tensions eventually reached a breaking point following a situation involving Jennifer Lopez. In his telling, what began as behind-the-scenes friction slowly escalated into something far more volatile, with boundaries allegedly being crossed and egos colliding away from the public eye. Gene has suggested that unresolved power dynamics and personal rivalries contributed to an atmosphere that became increasingly uncomfortable for those involved. These accounts remain his personal claims and have not been independently verified, but they added another layer of intrigue to an already complicated narrative. Gene has also alleged that Will and Jada Smith sometimes attempted to exert control over social situations in ways that made others uneasy. In interviews, he described moments where invitations or suggestions allegedly crossed social boundaries, creating awkward or tense dynamics within private celebrity circles. One example he referenced involved an invitation extended to Diddy and Jennifer Lopez that he implied carried an uncomfortable undertone. While Gene spoke in coded language rather than explicit terms, the implication was that the situation went beyond what most people would consider appropriate or respectful. Again, these are allegations, not established facts. Still, once statements like these enter the public sphere, they tend to fuel speculation rather than resolve it. For many observers, Gene's comments reinforced the broader perception that Hollywood's inner circles operate by a different set of unspoken rules, where influence, power, and blurred boundaries can quietly shape interactions long before any conflict ever becomes visible to the outside world.
Wow. Puff, Jennifer Lopez, Matt Damon, Ben Affleck, Will Smith, and Jada Pinkett. They all over there and they drinking, having fun and stuff like that. So about an hour or so, Puff come over to me. He said, "Yo, Gene, come go to the restroom with me." I said, "All right." We walked to the restroom. And I said, we walked to the restroom. I said, "Yo, what's wrong, man? What's up, man? What's wrong with you?" He said, "Yo, I think Will and Jada trying to pull Jennifer. I need you to come close to me, close over there by us, because if he keep on with this, I'm going to snuff his." We'll go beat the
Tell me the story about how Puffy wanted to fight Will Smith over Jennifer Lopez.
Oh, man. We were at a birthday party that I think either Matt Damon was giving for Ben Affleck. It was just a little gathering. They was at the Four Seasons. Will Smith and his sister and her husband, we were all sitting on this side of the room. Matt Damon, Ben Affleck, Jennifer Lopez, Puff, Will Smith, and Jada, and they was sitting on the other side of the room. So I know Puff so well that he stood up. When he stood up, he walked and did his arm some kind of way, like, and then he went like this, like that. I went over towards him. I know to go over there towards him. So I go towards him, and he said to me, he said, "Yo, I think Will and Jada is trying to scoop up Jennifer."
Hey, speaking of
This
love,
is love.
I saw a guy on the internet the other day who said he used to be your security guard, who said that when you were dating J-Lo, Will Smith and Jada tried to pick her up on a we're going to beat up Will Smith. Is that true?
Yo, this show has gotten crazier since the last time I No,
it's all about love, though. That's not true.
You really heard that? Nah.
What? Yeah, I watched it on the internet. You're telling me I can't believe everything I read?
What? I don't know what you're talking about. Jimmy, I thought we was friends. Where did this interview just go?
Fans also continue to circle back to the August Alsina entanglement from several years ago, a moment many believe permanently altered how the public views the Smith family. That revelation didn't just dominate headlines at the time. It fundamentally changed the narrative around their marriage and personal lives. For a lot of critics and commentators, that moment marked a clear shift. They argue it cracked open the door for deeper scrutiny, making the Smiths' private dynamics feel more accessible and, in some cases, more questionable in the eyes of the public. Since then, observers say every new rumor seems to cling more tightly than before, and every resurfaced clip carries heavier implications. Moments that might once have been dismissed as awkward or irrelevant now get re-examined through a far more skeptical lens. Old interviews are replayed, body language is analyzed, and past statements are reinterpreted as potential foreshadowing. Whether fair or not, the entanglement reshaped public trust, and many believe it lowered the threshold for what people are willing to believe. As a result, once speculation starts, it spreads faster, and once it takes hold, it's far harder to shake.
Oh, I think from there, you know, as time went on, I got into a different kind of entanglement with August.
Entanglement?
Yes. Yes.
A relationship.
Yes, it was a relationship. Absolutely.
We also got
the only person that could give permission in that particular circumstance is myself.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. But what August was probably trying to communicate, because I could actually see how he would perceive it as permission because we were separated amicably.
Yeah.
And I think he also wanted to make it clear that he's not a homo.
Looking ahead, industry insiders and online commentators are now suggesting that any potential legal drama involving the Smith family may not be resolved anytime soon. Some speculate that ongoing disputes, possible lawsuits, and public legal battles could stretch well into 2026, keeping the situation in the headlines far longer than many expected. At this stage, these projections remain just that, speculation, but they reflect a growing belief that the fallout surrounding the Smiths may be far from over. At the same time, Orlando Brown appears poised to be pulled even deeper into the unfolding chaos. Rumors continue to circulate that he may be preparing to release additional claims that could reignite controversy and push the conversation in new directions. Whether those statements ever materialize or not remains uncertain. However, the mere possibility has been enough to sustain intense online interest. Anticipation alone has kept this story alive, with fans and critics alike watching closely, waiting to see who speaks next, what gets revealed, and whether any of it will ultimately stand up to scrutiny.
Orlando Brown is too wild for this. Who keeps on interviewing him?
Where the are all the wigs when it comes down to Jada's head? And what the does Will Smith grab when he lays down in bed? I'm just saying some real shit, man. Are you gripping when she's gabble, squabble, swabble?
Street Talk has also reignited claims suggesting that, similar to Jada Pinkett Smith's widely publicized entanglement back in 2020, Will Smith may have had relationships outside of his marriage as well. These claims remain unverified, but they have resurfaced in online discussions, adding yet another layer to the ongoing conversation surrounding the Smiths' private lives. The Smiths themselves have publicly acknowledged that their marriage has been non-traditional, opening the door to discussions about unconventional relationship dynamics. Building on that, some online speculation has gone even further, with rumors now suggesting that Will's current partner could be a man. Again, it's important to note that none of these claims have been confirmed, and they exist purely as unverified chatter. Despite the lack of evidence, the internet hasn't slowed down. Conversations, debates, and analyses continue to multiply across social media, forums, and video commentary. Every post, every resurfaced clip, and every new angle gets dissected and shared, demonstrating just how quickly rumors, whether true or false, can take on a life of their own in the public imagination.
There are so many surprising things in the book, but the thing that surprised me the most, that I actually had to reread it because I said, is this true?
Right.
Was that in 2016, you and Will decided that you were going to live completely separate lives.
Yes.
It was not a divorce on paper,
Right.
but it was a divorce. So from the year 2016, which is 7 years ago now,
Yes.
y'all have been apart.
Yeah.
As these rumors continue to spread, comment sections across social media have turned into virtual battlegrounds. Fans and critics alike are weighing in, often with wildly different perspectives. One commenter suggested that Will Smith has been navigating all of this in plain sight, arguing that many people struggle to separate the actor from the real person behind the public persona. Another argued that Will allegedly caused tensions in other relationships, pointing out that Jaden has spoken publicly about his experiences, yet instead of asking why, the narrative often frames him as the problem. Of course, these are all opinions, not verified facts, but they highlight just how divided public perception has become. Some commentators even speculated that if Jada was truly aware of certain family dynamics, It might help explain why Jaden publicly expressed a desire for independence at such a young age. Meanwhile, other voices, particularly those familiar with Philadelphia circles where the family once lived, claim that much of Will's private life was already an open secret years ago, and that his social interactions at the time weren't nearly as shocking as outsiders made them out to be. Now, it's your turn to weigh in. Do you think Orlando Brown actually knows something the public doesn't? Or is this simply another case of old rumors being recycled for attention and engagement? Where do you personally draw the line between questioning power and spreading speculation? And why do these stories always seem to resurface every few years, no matter how much time has passed? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I want to hear what you think. And if you're interested in more deep dives into celebrity drama, insider stories, and the kind of tea that mainstream media tends to avoid, don't forget to hit subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss a single update.